The Trump administration is using Nazi and white supremacist propaganda as their model to recruit a paramilitary force, effectively a standing army on domestic soil for Donald Trump to use. What am I talking about? The over $200 billion Donald Trump is now spending to hire 10,000 ICE agents, 3,000 Border Patrol agents. But it gets worse because Donald Trump has taken all the filters off. He's lowered the age for people to apply from the 20s down to 18 years old. Imagine this, 18-year-old border agents with guns under the control of Donald Trump. In addition, he's cutting the training in half. His Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem has gotten rid of all of the investigators that investigate abuse within this organization because Donald Trump doesn't care about that. And he's using, and it's not coincidental, he's using language and imagery taken from Nazi propaganda and from white supremacist movement to get those people to join. And I assure you, if you are a Proud Boy, if you were an Oath Keeper, if you were a Klansman or anything else, or a Jan 6 insurrectionist, those are not going to be disqualifying memberships for you to apply for Donald Trump's standing army. This against the backdrop of a federal judge today who declared and announced for the world to understand that Donald Trump is in the process of standing up a federal police force where he is the chief to use as an occupying force around America, including in blue or only in blue cities and blue states. It's something that he's always wanted. It's something that our founding fathers and framers were always afraid of ever since we departed from England in the Declaration of Independence, where a president as king would have a standing army to use against the American people. I cover it all for you right here on Midas Touch and on Legal AF. So if you piece all this together, and this puzzle is not a difficult thing to piece together, is you've got Donald Trump federalizing the National Guard, especially in red states and in places that he can control, and in places like California. So he gets control. Let's think of the constituent parts of his standing army, his federal police force on domestic soil, which is unconstitutional and violates the Posse Comitatus Act, as Judge Breyer just declared. But think of the components of it. You've got 10,000 new ICE agents being hired. You have 3,000 Customs and Border Patrol agents being hired. They're being given bounties. They're being given bonus.
This is Elder G again. Now you see that big, beautiful bill that gave Trump all that money. Took it away from Medicaid. Took it away from the Department of Education. Took it away from free lunches and SNAP. He took it away from FEMA. So he can build these concentration camps for his prisoners. And the judge in San Francisco, Stephen Breyer, used to be a Supreme Court Justice brother, said that what Donald Trump is doing is illegal. That's what the judge declared, that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. You cannot let Donald Trump build that army. If we wait till Donald Trump gets his complete army together, look at, he's gonna hire 18-year-olds and put them as border agents with assault weapons. An 18-year-old child that hardly got any training, he's gonna put them on the border. My God. How have the church fallen? How have the church fallen? They sit back ever since 2015. They sit back and let this man push to be a dictator, trying to set up his own army, and he's taking our tax money. Mike Johnson, them in the House and the Senate, they ought to be ashamed. They are traitors to the Constitution. They traitors. Stop sitting back and letting this stuff happen. We are the majority that don't believe in what they believe in. The majority need to move and stop this craziness. I never seen nobody want their family members to die as bad as these president white people. I ain't never seen nobody that would try to overthrow a whole country. That some of their own family members that don't believe they're gonna die. I just can't believe that people this thirsty for death. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. Just keep on going until you push the war. I don't want to hear no crying. I don't want to hear no whining. Take it like a man or take it like a woman. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, church. The church is supposed to stand up when evil is trying to overthrow good. And the church ain't doing nothing. And I ain't talking about God either. I ain't talking about Jesus either. I'm talking about these weak-needed preachers and these weak-needed deacons. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And what you gonna do about what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do nothing because you wimps.